know, one of the other things you have to consider when you're buying an airsoft gun is that it may be a good quality piece of equipment, but it just does not work for you for your particular application. There's a lot of situations, you know, and a lot of variables in using airsoft guns that they may work for some people and not work for other people. Sometimes the overall ergonomics of the gun just don't work, or it just doesn't shoulder well because you've got a pretty big bulky chest rig and you just can't get it in where you need it. Or you've got a mask system, you know, with your face mask or your goggles, that you just can't get your face in close enough to the gun to shoulder it and actually see the sights. And those are also considerations when you're buying the gun, that you just are not going to be able to determine those things until you actually get it out on the field and try it out. And I really can't overstate it, that's the best thing about here, that when you use a gun here in the arena, when you leave, you know exactly how that gun performed for you, and you know, you're saving yourself a lot of heartache over the long term. Now, with all that in mind, the gun that we're going to be talking about this week is the FN SCAR L Mod 0 CQC. Now, the Special Operations Forces Combat Assault Rifle, or SCAR, was originally produced by FN as a potential replacement for the M4 and the M16. It came in two variants, the SCAR L and the SCAR H, or the Mark 16 and the Mark 17 respectively. The Mark 16, or the SCAR L, was a lighter weight 5.56 NATO firing gun that shot the same bullet as the M4 and the M16. The larger variant, or the SCAR H Mark 17, shot a larger 7.62 round that was a much heavier bullet and was found to be more functional for certain situations. Now, the SCAR L was originally intended to replace the M4 and the M16. The military bought a huge quantity of these and had a contract with FN, but unfortunately in the middle of the production run, the military had cutbacks and was not able to honor the contract and canceled their order for the SCAR Ls. Now, the SCAR H's, from what I understand, they are continuing to use. In fact, my understanding is that the military is ordering SCAR H's and ordering a conversion kit to convert them either from 7.62 down to 5.56 and back and forth, so you could use the same basic gun for both calibers. In the airsoft world, it fires the same round as every other gun that's out there. It shoots a 6mm plastic BB. This particular one, we recommend the .25 gram BBs. The first gun we're going to be looking at today is the Echo1 Echo 16 Mod 0, which is basically Echo1's version of the Mark 16 Mod 0. This is the CQC variant. There are basically three barrel lengths for the SCAR. The CQC has the shortest barrel. There's also the standard, which has a 14-inch barrel, and then there's the long barrel version. For use here in the arena, the CQC is optimal because generally we're doing fairly tight turns and, you know, generally close quarters, so this tends to work best in this particular environment. Some of the key features of the Mark 16 are the quad rails that are pre-installed on the gun. This is a pretty common feature these days. Most guns do have rails on them, so a few years ago when most guns just had regular hand guards on it, it was a bigger deal. But it is nice to have them if you're adding additional accessories like grips, lights, flashlights, scopes, all that kind of stuff. It has the flip-up sights, so you can easily pull the sights up if you're going to use it with the iron sights, or if you're using it with optics, you can easily fold the sights down and just use it with your optics system on it. The gun has a fairly versatile stock system on the back of it, where number one, it folds down, so if you want to use it in a close quarter battle situation, you can easily make it into a very compact package. You can also unfold it out and shoot it from the shoulder. It has an adjustable length to the stock, so if you're a larger shooter, you can easily adjust it to whatever length you need. And it also has an adjustable cheek piece on it, so you can easily adjust it to the cheek weld that works best for you. One of the great features for using the gun is the fact that it's got a lot of ambidextrous controls on it. First of all, it has the ambidextrous mag catch on both sides of the gun. It also has ambidextrous selector switches on both sides of the gun, which make it very easy to use either left-handed or right-handed. From the standpoint of using the gun, it's a great feature. From the standpoint of owning the gun and having to do any kind of repair work on it, ambidextrous controls are a pain in the ass to work on. So if you do your own work, they're believe me, you don't want to have to deal with these. They're a real pain in the neck. But from the standpoint of using it practically, it works good in that situation. I would just caution people that if you want a gun that is not going to cost as much to maintain as far as getting in there and doing maintenance on the gun, you're going to want to stick with a gun like a standard M4 that just has regular one-sided controls on it. The second rental gun we're looking at today is the D-Boys version of the SCAR L Mark 16. Now this particular one, I came into possession of it. A guy sold it to me in a box full of parts. It was pretty much totally disassembled and was missing a lot of the stuff, so we had to completely reassemble it and find a bunch of other parts to make the gun work. We've replaced the D-Boys gearbox inside of it with a G&G gearbox. It needed some minor mods to get it in there, but generally the version 2 gearboxes that go in SCARs are pretty much the same as M4s and M16s. There's some minor differences with the nozzle length and with the little loop that's in there that the magazine catch normally goes through. You have to grind a few parts off, but they generally just drop right in. The D-Boys and the Echo1 are identical. I've taken both of these apart, and inside of it, the inner workings on them are absolutely identical. I would even venture a guess that they probably come out of the same exact factory because they are 100% intercompatible, and pretty much all the features on the Echo1 are the same as the D-Boys, with the exception of the fact that we've modified this one and put the G&G gearbox in it, which in my opinion makes this a little bit of a better choice because the G&G gearbox is just the sweetest gearbox that's out there on the market that I've seen so far. The only major difference between the D-Boys and the Echo1 is the rear sight that I've got on this one. This one actually came with the original SCAR sight, but somebody dropped it on it and broke the damn sight, so we actually have a replacement UTG rear sight on it that's adjustable for windage, and it has the 2 different aperture settings on it, which work just fine for this particular gun. Now, because these are premium rentals here at the Airsoft Arena, you can get it with the riser and the scope as part of the regular package. This is a great way to use this gun because it gets the scope up nice and high. So if you're using paintball masks or just any kind of safety equipment, it's a lot easier to get your face in there and see the sight. This is a fairly large optic, so it's easy to get, a lot of peripheral vision when you're trying to get onto your target or look for other targets. But just having the sight sit up higher makes it way more usable. And the best thing is you can try it out and see exactly what I'm talking about for yourself. So that's the basics on the Mark 16 SCAR L. And like I said, if you're thinking about buying one of these guns, I can't overstate how useful it is to actually come here to the arena, try them out for yourself, and that way when you leave, you'll know whether or not the gun is going to work for you. If you want to rent them, they're available any of the days that we're open, Thursday through Sunday. If you don't have a lot of money, remember Sunday is half-price rentals, so you can rent this with the scope for $15 for the whole day. And the nicest thing is you're not married to it for the whole day, so if you decide that you don't like it, you can trade it in, grab another gun off the rack, and try something different. So there's a lot of options, and it's a great opportunity to try some new stuff that's out there without spending a lot of money. If you want to find out more information about the arena, you can check out our website at replayairsoft.com, or just come on down, we'll give you a tour and you can try it out for yourself. So until then, don't let the bastards get you down.